massive improved funding. Incidentally, it turned out to be one strike action after another. The issue has almost always been around inadequate funding.
I tell people one thing: show me any country that is doing well in the world, then I will point to a country that is funding research.
Without TETFund, most of the schools will have gone into oblivion.
TETFund has become the father of modern Nigerian universities.
Appropriation that was increasingly failing the public tertiary institutions. So, and consistently, up to the negotiation conclusion and the takeoff of it was, and has remained so. Even more recently, most strike actions by unions in our tertiary institutions are associated with funding problems. And so that's why I justified the emergence of the Education Trust Fund. What a great thing that guy is doing. And he's getting all the support from TETFund. I can tell you this. As I talk to you, we started during my first stint as ES, we started the Scholars Project, hostels. Yeah, we started the Scholars Project. And we're happy to say that with the recent 5 billion special allocation that was made to UNILAG last year, the Scholars Project, they are continuing. They're going to build additional Scholars Hostel to consolidate where scholars visiting.
So I will take the impact of TETFund in University of Lagos in 3 dimensions. 1, concerning manpower development. In the last 6 years or thereabout, our colleagues, the younger ones that have gone to do their PhD and master's program outside this country will be over 10. Then those who went for their master's program, for PhD over 10, for master's program, I think they should be over 5. And when you talk in terms of people who have gone outside this country to attend conferences, outside this country, will be over 50 that have gone outside this country for one conference or the other. And at the national level, that is within the country, we have some of our younger colleagues that have gotten the support of TETFund to do their PhD and master's degree, and also to attend conferences.
A university or any tertiary institution is the better for it when they're able to attract international scholars, either on short-term visits or sabbatical for a full year, as it were. And I can tell you, yes, UNILAG is doing very well. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, one of the very best of universities you can imagine in Nigeria and indeed in Africa. There's no doubt about it. It's globally rated one of the top most. There's no doubt about it. In a number of times, in fact, it has even come top in some other platforms of rating in Nigerian university system. So it's not a surprise that you virtually have admiration for what Professor Toyin Ogunlibe is doing at UNILAG.
Okay, actually, let me start this way by commending the federal government and also the academic staff union of universities for the TETFund intervention, because precisely speaking, this came with the assistance of ASU National, and TETFund has been of immense assistance to Lagos State University. Ever since it started, you've benefited a lot in so many ways, and in terms of training of staff, even acquisition of PhD by our staff, even reflecting in the student performance, directly or indirectly. A lot of our colleagues have been able to benefit from TETFund training. As I speak to you, nothing less than 266 LASU staff has attended international conferences on the platform of TETFund. And that is immense, because when you develop human resources, it also affects even the structure.
The academic development we have had in the last 3 years due to the intervention of TETFund, and I was saying that over 100 of scholars have benefited from the academic development program of TETFund. Some have gone for their PhD program, some have gone for masters, and so this we have achieved through the intervention of TETFund. And a lot of staff has also gone for conferences.
And so challenge the faculty members, challenge everybody to do what is right. But for me, guess what? Deepening research. That is my chorus.
Physical development in the last 6 years, we have what we call the Faculty of Social Sciences Lecture Theatre, which we are going to visit very soon. We also have the Faculty of Engineering Extension building that is under construction. We have the gallery for the sports center in the swimming pool area that we have what we call the Olympic-sized swimming pool. Olympic-sized swimming pool. We are putting up the pavilion supported by TETFund, which is under construction. Then we have the zonal intervention, in which we are using for the vertical extension in the College of Medicine in the area of infrastructure. We just commissioned the Marine Police Station. The last one was built in 1991, and we have problem with it in such a way that it's almost collapsing. But we just put up another one, and it's of good standard. Even the police, by the time they came, they were impressed too with what they saw.
The tallest educational building in Lagos State is Yaba. It's at Yaba, and it's a TETFund building. It's the tallest. And it's not a surprise. You go to LASU now. There's a project ongoing coming up. When it is completed, my oh my.
The main one in terms of structure that I want to say is TETFund is there for us and will continue to be there for us, is our Academic Resource Center, which is ongoing now. I'm not sure of the amount, but I know it's not less than about 5 billion naira or around that range, 4 billion naira. Very massive, that encompasses a lot of structure. I must confess to you, the last time I saw something ongoing in LASU in any other part of the world, it happens to be in Nairobi, Kenya, and Joburg in South Africa, the International Conference Center in Nairobi, Kenya. That is semblance of what TETFund is giving us.
Right now, within the college, we have so many of TETFund projects, especially the construction of the new School of Business and Management Studies. We've used our intervention from 2016 to date for that. And of course, the 2019 intervention is also meant for a faculty, which we've started in Ekpe. You know, we have another faculty in Ekpe. And we have used TETFund intervention to also kickstart the development of that new campus. I think the first major intervention that we had was the construction of a 7-story building, which is kind of a hallmark for TETFund. And with the help of TETFund, the college have been able to have a central laboratory, which is only in this, will I say in Nigeria, a central lab. I'm yet to see any other one as equipped as the ones we have here in the college with the help of TETFund.
There are exceptional interventions that we have approved for many of our beneficiary institutions, University Polytechnic College of Education. We've had to, initially we were not involved in fencing. More recently, we've had to admit that because of the insecurity, fencing became a top priority for a number of institutions when they are physically vulnerable to all sorts of miscreants and criminals. We need to protect them. That is just one aspect. But of course, what they call a UNILAC is by the seaside there. And we want to develop a technology that is relevant to the immediate community. That is the essence. For me, when I talk about deepening research, I said for problem solving for nations. That is what traditionally universities do. University must be relevant. In fact, we want to see, when we say you are fantastic in technology, let's see the technology manifesting even within the walls, physical walls of the university, polytechnic, or college of education. Then the immediate community, the state, the nation, the continent, and so on and so forth.
Another aspect of intervention is our National Research Fund. LASO has also benefited. In 2019, 2 of our colleagues won the NHF research grant. And also 2020, last year, the last one, 2 of our professors won some money for the grant. I mean that all in all, in terms of National Research Funds, LASO has won it 4 times. We had at least 4 winners.
The area of support in the laboratory. We have so many equipment that we have been able to purchase through the support of we got from TETFund. If you go to our central research lab, you see some of the equipment. They're properly labeled with TETFund label on them.
I tell you one thing, the most passionate aspect of my priority, like I said earlier, I will repeat it, and even if I'm over repeating it, R&D.
I know of so many computer analysis training support for both staff and for both academic and non-academic staff, and a lot of our colleagues have been able to benefit and are still benefiting, and we are still hoping we continue to benefit.
I will now talk about the Center of Excellence. We have the Center of Excellence for Biodiversity in the University of Lagos, which TETFund is supporting us with 1 billion naira. We have the Center for Urology, Kidney and Urology. TETFund is supporting with 1 billion. So we have 2 centers of excellence for biodiversity and urology. So when you talk about the support that we have received from TETFund, is a lot. Without TETFund, there are certain things that we wouldn't have been able to do. I'll use myself as an example. I've benefited from TETFund National Research Funds with my research team to the tune of almost 200 million naira. I've been principal investigator in one of those groups, and my mentees are the ones that are leading in others.
The most competitive nations are the ones that have the most competitive investment indices in research and development, R&D. Check it out there. TETFund, through our R&D, we're able to intervene on COVID. We provided a number of molecular labs. We are funding, and in fact, 2 of our TETFund-funded research grants on COVID have moved to 2 levels of World Health Organization recognition. One for drug, the other one on vaccine and gene sequencing. So we are moving the right direction, and we have the support of President Muhammadu Buhari, and the Honorable Minister of Education.
Indeed, we know that government cannot fund education alone. And the bulk of the problem that we put before TETFund is becoming too, and of course there should be an appeal to private sector to also get involved in intervening. You understand? So that of course there is always that trend that we want to meet with the global thing that is happening. So like Oliver Twist, we will say that we need more.
You know, and one thing in our life is that the higher you go, the more complex you become, and the more your needs. I know, and thank God you have a section of need assessment. Because as we get improved course of TETFund, we also increase our intake of students. The more we intake, we also have other challenges that we also have to overcome. So on that premise, we still need TETFund. We continue to need TETFund because whatever way and manner TETFund has intervened, it has been judiciously utilized. That's the concept. Judiciously utilized. If TETFund put a program here, that program will come to be, and with that alone, it simply implies that we are worthy of being invested on. Whatever investments TETFund is showing here, definitely it is going to yield fruit.
If you look at our student population in the University of Lagos, it's over 57,000 at the undergraduate and postgraduate level. We want to equip our laboratory. I tell people one thing: show me any country that is doing well in the world, then I will point to a country that is funding research. The only government agency that is funding research in this country now is TETFund. It's only TETFund that is giving major grants, major support in the area of research. Like I said, we have the National Research Fund, then we have the Institutional Research Fund, which is about 2 million naira, which is just like a startup grant for you to start your research work. And from there, you know whether you need to expand the research work. And that one, in the University of Lagos, we are benefiting from it. So it's only TETFund that is supporting research grant in this country. The National Research Grant is about, the maximum is 50 million naira. And recently, the president increased the support in that area to some billions. So TETFund is doing well in that area.
Entrepreneurship is a major area of weakness, between our universities and even the polytechnics, very sadly. And we just had a meeting recently with the executive secretary of NBTE, Professor Bogoro, making fantastic recommendations in terms of how would help the polytechnics to be more relevant in the context of, entrepreneurship, yes, and spin-offs, right? Emerging from the relevant technology within the beneficiary institution. So
there's need to give startup grants to our undergraduate students. Startup grants, like in University of Lagos, we have the Entrepreneurship and Skill Development Center. What we do is that we are training our students in such a way that they can start their own business. And the university will register the business for the students. You understand? You will register the business as a limited liability company for the students. But they need a startup grant. We got support from some other organizations. So TETFund should look at that area of giving them, like the one we have, the maximum is 2 million naira. TETFund should look at that direction. And with that, I'm sure I will be able to reduce the level of unemployment in this country. In Harvard, they register company for the students, maybe about 2,000. Although they know that not all the 2,000 will do well, they now brought in the issue of mentorship, which we are doing here too, bringing mentors. Those mentors are not lecturers working in the university. They are people that have their own business and they are doing well outside. So those are the people that we are bringing in now to act as mentors for those students. In fact, now we are having a training. I'm sure we look at that, we get to that place, our entrepreneurship center. You see the training that they are doing there for the students. So I want TETFund to do something in that area.
For Unilag, whilst we are convinced it is a priority for them, why not? We will support.
Mr. Yes, sir. We must start by commending TETFund and also commending you for the effort that TETFund has put in Nigerian universities by developing virtually all universities, and with particular reference to Lagos State University. We have gained immensely from TETFund, and we still need more of attention from TETFund. Mr. Yes, it may also interest you to note that whatever investment you have done in Lagos State University is yielding fruit, and it's also having effect on our students, having effect on the psyche of our lecturers, having effect on everything around us. In fact, the psyche of the students is better off with TETFund intervention. And Mr. Yes, we can only ask for more by saying that we need areas of intervention, further intervention, like research and also physical infrastructures and among others. So, Mr. Yes, we greatly appreciate other form of assistance.
Well, you see, incidentally, I came in 2018. So I met this progress in the education sector, and I have been witnessing that progress. So I would say yes, that the present government has moved education.
When you talk about education, in the area of research, like I mentioned earlier on, the TETFund, increasing the amount of money that we get for research is only this administration that has been able to do that. That we don't have in the past through the support of TETFund. And if you look at the allocation from TETFund for in our university, in the Polytechnic, in the College of Education, you see that it has gone up.
Until our tertiary institutions are relevant, until we support and we are successful in problem-solving research, we are completely irrelevant. That is unacceptable with the huge funds that government has been committing to our tertiary institutions. We want to make, it's a knowledge economy in the 21st century. That's what it is called. It is defined and perfected and improved through the deepening of research, relevant research, problem-solving research.
The ideas the ES has put into it is yielding all this positive development that we are witnessing in the intervention, because I know that every year the intervention keeps on increasing. So, and this is the work of the ES. And of course, we now know that even the intervention, the collective fund has also increased. So this is also to the credit of the ES.
In the past, the fund that we get for capital projects, usually about 70 or thereabouts million naira. But this year, we got more than that. We got about 130. I can't remember the specific amount now for our capital project. In the past, even if you get 70 or whatever million you get, they may not release everything. But now, for this year, we have gotten 70%. 70% of the approved fund for our capital projects in the budget. I'll tell you another thing that actually surprised me. Our electricity bill between January and the last month is over 1 billion naira, and we have been talking about it. President Buhari, being a listening president, just this week, we got a letter from the Federal Ministry of Education that we have been listed as one of the universities that will benefit from a special intervention in such a way that we will become a special customer. And that will reduce our tariff. It will reduce our tariff. Then we talk about the issue of support that we get from the federal government through the President Buhari. We receive support for the development of the NITDA, our innovation hub. We have the NITDA project there, which was supported by the NITDA through the Federal Ministry of Communication from the presidency. We have the innovation hub, which the president supports through the vice president also at our innovation hub center. So we have received that support, and anytime we make noise about our needs, we always have the federal government intervening.
To LASU, TETFund has been a big brother, a big collaborator, a counterpart for a future LASU, a globalized LASU, a LASU that is hoping in the next few years to become best in West Africa, best university in West Africa, not just best state. By the way, we are second best university in Nigeria, as I speak to you. I mean that we are the best state university. It's only UI that is number one. After UI is LASU. And we are hoping that even by terms of higher education, we are ranked about 500 globally and about 6 in Africa. I mean that TETFund has assisted us in this ranking. Without TETFund, we are very sure we will not be where we are.
We've had commendations, comments, and reviews and positive references about TETFund intervention. And a number of people visiting, including governors. Believe me, governors of the ruling party and even the opposition. Honestly, they have come to TETFund to commend us for what we are doing.
You know, this is a 74-year-old institution. We have dilapidated building structures. And since we came in 2018 with the assistance of TETFund, we've been able to refurbish, upgrade some faculties and laboratories like that.
I would say that we can do better. We can do better, but I believe that so far we have been able to get the necessary support because of the resources that we have available.
President Muhammad Buhari has done greatly well. One thing the president has done, which we must commend him for, has to do with the fact that he is conscious of the fact that this is a baby of ASU. Since he came in, a lot of newly established universities have been developed because of TETFund, and TETFund has become the father of modern Nigerian universities.